Screw it. I'll make a game for both of them. This is what I'm thinking. Since it is a cooking game, like most others, it is gonna need to have a kitchen. And this is where most of the things usually happen. All the mini games, all the dynamics of making the recipes, putting them together, delivering it, the time pressure, everything. Now, typically, here you would find all the ingredients and everything else. And if I am going to make it into a horror cooking game, if I were to do it with just this, there probably would have to be some sort of monster or some sort of other dynamic that would make this part scarier. So you're more on your toes apart from the environmental stuff. But what I'm thinking is to add another section onto the kitchen that is a sort of dungeon. Maybe it's like kind of a maze, something like that. And here is where there would be a monster and threats and who knows what. And here's where it's gonna be like all the horror environment and the spookiness. Like that, it can feel that the kitchen is a safe zone and you can still have some of the chaos of like putting the recipe together with some sort of mini games. And here is where you have to be more cautious and wary of the monster. Let's start with the kitchen. The room itself is easy, just some walls, a ceiling, and a roof. And once I add some textures, it does start looking a lot more like a kitchen. I just added an entrance and some tiled floor, walls, and I'm not sure how I feel about the ceiling, but it's good enough for now. But I can't really cook on the floor. I do need something to actually cook on. So I went into Blender and modeled a few different stations. Chopping, mixing, a stove, plating, and a place to deliver the final dish. I put them all in and it's not looking too bad. I still think it's missing some environmental stuff to make it look more like an actual kitchen, but it's pretty good. I even added this middle like heart area that sort of, in my mind, powers everything else, but I guess maybe a chopping board doesn't need power, but you know, it makes sense. It makes sense in my head. Now that we have all the different stations to cook on, we do need some actual ingredients and recipes to create. Wait, before that, it doesn't really look that spooky, I just realized. I think I know how to fix this. I just add the typical indie horror game filter and suddenly it looks a lot better by looking worse, I guess. Going back to the ingredients, I created a few different ingredients that I believe could be used in a variety of recipes so that I could have some sense of randomization and replayability if I were to make things more procedurally generated. And I also created a decent amount of recipes based off those ingredients, even though some of them don't look the best. Especially this one. It's supposed to be a hash roll, but like I don't understand. It's like I didn't know how to make it a hash enough. But yeah. A lot of things look similar, but it's good enough for now. Now that we have the different ingredients of the game, I added some boxes to display them so that I don't have to make 3D models of each of them. And I also added a screen that shows what orders you have to cook. But I have a few issues. One, I'm not exactly sure how I want the player to cook things, because with the different stations I could do something similar to Overcooked with a circle that goes around and then you have to grab it in time, and it's more like time management as well as like juggling the different ingredients. Or what I think I'm gonna do is different mini games at each of the stations that you have to do in order to finish your recipe and deliver it here. And the only issue with that also is that I don't want to have to like 3D animate all the different recipes and all the different ingredients for all the different mini games and all different variations. So I'm gonna try to figure out a way to make it more automated, I guess. Let's see. Okay, so this is what I came up with. You're gonna go up to station, select the recipe you're gonna work on, and then a minigame pops up. And as you interact with the minigame, the sprites of the ingredients of the recipe are gonna change based on the minigame. Then you have to go to the different stations, completing the different minigames until you get the final dish and deliver it. Now you're gonna end up going into the dungeon to grab these ingredients like I mentioned before, but I think it's a good start for the minigames themselves. They are actually kind of fun. I spent some time doing each and every one of them, just like casually as I'm thinking about new ideas, which is a good sign, as I hear that being able to like mess around within your own game and just like have fun instead of working means that the mechanics themselves are kind of fun. As the final step of the single player prototype, I worked on the dungeon itself. I created a basic layout and added some textures and then added monsters that can do a full shift. Let's try it out. With everything finished, I'ma just try to complete a shift by cooking these 2 recipes and avoiding that. Let's get started. Okay, should be safe here. We need sugar and water. Chop. That's one down, and we still need tomatoes. Okay. So, oh, that's what I was running away from. Click on the next video to see how I make monsters for this game. Bye.